Alrighty, let's go. Welcome back into the Squishy Sport podcast, and today I'm going to bring you the big question for every single NRL club heading into next year, 2026. The big burning question that's overlying everything of how the season will go. The question you'll be asking and you'll want to know the answer at the end of the year, or end of next year, should I say. Well, here I am to answer my prediction, my opinion on the big burning question for every single NRL club heading into next year. Before we get started, guys, obviously, if you like the content, you like what you see, give it a massive like and subscribe. Smash that like button, smash the subscribe button as well. It literally takes 0.52 seconds to do. Every single Tuesday, have a new rugby league video for you coming out. Every single Wednesday, got my global sports roundup, bringing you the latest sporting news from around the world. And of course, Thursday, we have my NFL Red Zone report where I preview the NFL week every single week. We're into week 13 next week. Unbelievable. But as I said, give a massive subscribe and follow all my socials at Squishy Sports, SKOOSHI Sports, for all your daily reels, all your opinions, questions, that sort of thing. Everything is there. Give it a follow. All right, how we're going to do this episode is, as I said, I've got one big question for every single club that I think is a big question most people want to be asking heading into next year and want to know. How I'm going to do it, I'm literally going to do it from the ladder from this year, last, right up until first, baby. So make it nice and easy for you. So if you're a fan of one team and you know that you finished in the top 4, you're probably going to be at the end of the video here. I'm going to spend a couple minutes on both because obviously 17 teams. If I spend 5 minutes on each, we're going to be talking for fucking forever, it's going to feel like. So let's get straight into it. Let's not waste too much time. Obviously, we had our wooden spoons, the Knights, last year. The big burning question for them is, I think you probably know this one, how this is going to be, is Dylan Brown, the $15 million man. How is Dylan Brown going to fit into this team and make a serious impact? Well, Dylan Brown, obviously 10-year contract, $15 million, the biggest the NRL has ever seen. I think he will be 7 for the Knights. I think if you're paying a guy that much money, he has to take control of his team and be a 7. He is not taking control of a 7 jersey yet. I'm excited to see how it goes. Obviously, you've got a bit of talent around him in the spine, which I quite like. You've got, obviously, Kalen Ponga at fullback. You're probably going to have Fletcher Sharp at 6. And then you're going to have Phoenix Crossland at 9, who I think is on the improve for sure. My big problem for the Knights next year is their forward pack. So, can Dylan Brown produce an attack with a subpar forward pack? So, they're losing Kai Pearce-Paul to the Tigers. They're losing Leo Thompson. They kind of haven't really got too many sort of players that have got into sort of their into the forward pack. Obviously losing Jack Cogger as well. Harrison Graham is a pretty tidy pickup. They've also got Sandon Smith as well, obviously coming off the bench. So how's he going to fit into this team? I think he'll fit into the halfback role. How I saw him play for the Kiwis this year in internationals was very, very impressive. I'm very excited as someone who wants to see the Knights succeed as a club. The Novocastrians are very, very passionate fans. So can Dylan Brown fit in? Yes, I think so, but not next year. I think they'll probably struggle a little bit next year, but I think the next coming years, if they can stick Kalen Ponga, he can stay there and have a consistent team, get a better forward pack. No reason why they can't be contending in finals. Next one, Titans, the Gold Coast Titans. Oof, they've had some battles the last few years, haven't they? New coach this year, and that's who it's all about. It is. Can Josh Hannay turn things around for the Gold Coast? I want to say yes. If I'm talking about next year, no. Next year has to be, I get it, they've been rebuilding for so long, it feels like, but next year just has to be a rebuilding year with a new coach. You just don't often see a rookie coach, especially a first-year head coach, first team, step into a role and succeed straight away. I feel like we're going to see something similar to what Jason Riles was with the Eels this year. Really sort of, I guess, struggled getting into it sort of, first 15, 20 rounds of the year. Really had a bit of success near the end of the year. Do I think they'll make the 8? No. Do I think they'll make the bottom 4? No, not necessarily. If Tino stays there, Jaden Campbell has extended there as well. AJ Brimson, very, very talented team there for sure. Obviously, losing Dave Fafita, a little bit of a loss as well. Look, Lockie Elias, he's there. He's a good recruitment as well for them. But AKP is a little bit of a loss as well, but they never sort of played him either. So if I'm talking about 2026, can Josh Hannay turn things around in 1 year for the Gold Coast and make finals? No, I do not. So I think it'll be a little bit of a struggle for the Titans next year. We saw Jason Ryall said it was a rebuilding year this year for the Eels, and I think he has done that really well. And I think Josh Hannay, he's been in the Queensland Maroons system for a long time now. He's ready for this role. I think he can actually take them to a good place in the future. Will it happen next year? No. Will we see the steps, the small stepping stones of what he wants the team to be? 100%. I fully believe that. All right, next team, St. George Illawarra Dragons. And my big burning question for the Dragons next year is, can the spine of Gutho, Flanagan, Atkinson, and Cook be good enough to, sort of control this team and make this team sort of worthwhile and be a good team? Straight out, no, I don't think so. I really think Dan Atkinson is a really solid player. But he was a really solid player in a really solid system. Now you're going to a system that has not been proven. They had some good moments here and there, but Gutho's another year older. Damien Cook is another year older. I think they should be putting Jacob Little in more and more and more minutes as the season goes. And Kyle Flanagan, if he's going to continue to be the sixth, he just hasn't quite proven at NRL level that he can take a team to finals. So, in all honesty, Dragons are probably very, very close to my wooden spoon pick for next year, early pick. If not, definitely sort of bottom four. Losing Jack DeBellin, I get it, he's sort of past it a little bit, but they haven't really done too much in regards to sort of transfers to make them sort of a better team. As I said, Dan Atkinson is the main one. He has been announced he will be in the halves for next year already. Is Dan Atkinson the type of guy that can completely flip a team and how their attack looks? No, I don't think so. I think that the Dragons fans might be in for a pretty disappointing year next year. So, big question. Spine of Gutho, Flanagan, Atkinson, and Cook good enough for next year? No, I do not think so. Next team, that is the mighty South Sydney Rabbitohs of the Red and Myrtle, coming off a pretty horror year with Wayne Bennett there. And horror year being so many injuries. And that is my question. Can South stay relatively healthy this year to perform well? Answer, yes, 100%. This team on paper, when healthy, I think is very close to a top 4 team. Very, very close. You got the likes of Latrell. You've got the likes of David Feeder, who's just come. You've got the likes of Cody Walker. You've got the likes of Campbell Graham. You've got Cameron Murray there. You've got Tallis Duncan, who's just getting better and better and better. AJ, I get it. He's sort of getting a little bit older, but he's going to become the highest ever NRL try scorer. You've got Tyrone Munro. You have so much talent on this squad. It is ridiculous. If this team can stay relatively healthy throughout the year, maybe you lose a couple to Origin, that sort of thing, Cam Murray, Latrell, that sort of thing, and still win games during that period. 100% this team, South team, is easily a top 8 team, very close to a top 4 team. With Wayne Bennett at the helm as well, there is absolutely no reason why the South team cannot be contending in finals. Or, as I said, the whole thing for them is staying healthy. They had just a brutal amount of injuries last year. Forgot about Jai Gray as well, just signed an extension today. They had copped so many injuries last year that just completely decimated them. They're just playing, rotating, just like musical chairs every single week this year. If they can stay relatively healthy this year, not suffer any big long-term injuries to, like Cam Murray was out all the year. Latrell, he came back. He was out for 8 weeks or something like that. Like Jai Gray, he was even out for a little bit. Just so many superstars of the team. Cody Walker was suffering calf injuries. So many superstars of this team were just suffering injuries and injuries and injuries. Really excited to see how Ashton Ward does go if selected at 7. So yes, if South can stay relatively healthy, 110% this team is a finals team, if not a top 4 team for mine. All right, heading into the West Tigers, and I think they may be in for a little bit of an more exciting year next year. We'll have to see. Big burning question for the Tigers is, have the Tigers solved all their off-field dramas to let the on-field product of their team improve? Quick answer is yes, I think so. We've got Benji Marshall now in his going to be third year of coaching next year. We're going to have Jerome Luai in his second year at 7 for the Tigers in their system there. You've got some pretty good recruitments coming. You've got Jock Madden coming. You've got Kai Pearce-Paul coming. I think that's a really, really good addition there. Just a really sort of exciting team, I think. You've also got Dream Buller at the back. I think he can improve on this season. Probably a little bit of a downer year. Sania Taruva scored plenty of tries for the Tigers this year. I think they can be a little bit of a hot pocket team, like a bit exciting. If they have this belief in the Benji system, I think it'll work. And we saw it at points this year, 100%. So yes, if the Tigers, I think they've solved their off-field issues with the management and head office and the board, that sort of thing, that they can now sort of take away what's happened off-field for the last 5, 10, even close to 15 years. Haven't made finals since 2009. Is next year the year they break that drought? I think they'll come very bloody close. I think they'll finish around 9th, 10th, maybe sneak in the 8th. I think they've solved their off-field issues where they can finally let the footy do the talking for the club. Big year for the Tigers next year in regards to their rejuvenation as a whole. The fans keep turning up. They deserve some good footy. All right, next team. We're flying along here. Absolutely love it. North Queensland Cowboys, and what a frustrating team they were this year. It's super inconsistent. I remember they went down and beat the Roosters. I remember they went down and they beat the Panthers, and then they'll go and lose horrifically to the Titans, or just some really bad losses as well chucked in there. Big question for me is can the Cowboys be consistent enough to make a finals run in 2026? My first initial thought is no. I think the loss of Reece Robson is huge for that club. I get it. Reed Marnie is coming in. Two sort of very different style of players, right? I really do like how Reece Robson plays. Really does open up the field a lot for Tommy Dearden. Really intrigued to see who is in the 6 for the Cowboys this year, and obviously Drinky as well. We know the capabilities of Scott Drinkwater. He can be absolutely on fire one week and then absolutely toast in the next week. He's so vital to that team. If he's on, this Cowboys team can easily put 30, 40 plus points on. Defensively, he's a bit of a worry. When he's bad though, man, this team is just so off. Like, now you've got essentially the Queensland 7 as your halfback there now. You've got a new number 9 in there now, which will, I think, take a little bit to adjust. Jason Tamalolo's another year older. They haven't made too many sort of off-season changes. That's literally the main change that they've had at the 9 there. Murray Taulagi has to stay healthy next year as well. Val Holmes, he's inconsistent as well. One day he can kick 8 out of 8 with the boot. Next day he'll kick 2 out of 6. So one of the best goal kickers in the comp when he's on 100%. But again, he can have some absolute Barry Crockers in there. So can they be consistent enough to make a finals run in 2026? I just don't think so next year. I think there's going to be too many better teams next year for the Cowboys to sort of compete. I'd love to see the Cowboys compete and be in the top 8. They're a very, very entertaining team to watch. But as we know with the Cowboys this year, they had one of the worst defenses in the comp. They were absolutely shocking on defense, which shows a lot of discipline issues from my point of view. If you're having defensive issues all year, I think it comes a lot down to how you train, the discipline, and the coaching as well. I just don't quite believe Todd Payton has got this team at a consistent enough level that they can make the top 8 and really make a finals run for it. They did make it 2 years ago, won their finals match against the Knights, I believe it was, and then they sort of get towed up the next week. So just one of those things with the Cowboys, but I don't think they're just quite there yet. I think they probably lost their premiership window a couple years ago when they made the grand final, or even so more than sort of a few years ago. I think they're probably a little bit on the outer for mine, to be honest. Next team, and one of the more exciting teams I'm kind of excited for next year, and that is the Parramatta Eels. And the big question for them in Jason Ryles' second year as coaching is, are the Eels still in a rebuilding year? My quick answer is absolutely not. I think last year, like, I get it, the first 15 to 20 rounds, we 100% saw the Eels were in a rebuilding year. Really sort of struggled on attack. Mitch Moses was out, obviously, for quite a little bit as well with that sort of that foot injury. He is such a vital part to this team, but we saw in the end how Isaiah Iongi, he was getting better and better every game. Joash Papali'i, he was getting better and better every single game. You've obviously got Riley Smith. You've obviously got Talon Silva there now at number 9. A really good hooker rotation as well. If they can have a really strong forward pack, there's absolutely no reason why this team, I think, can make the top 8. They finished so strong this year. So strong. I was so impressed and so happy for them that they believed in this Jason Ryles system. They were so bad at the start of the year. So bad through the Origin as well. And they came out the other side of it and they really started to perform and win some games. Have some really impressive wins as well. I think they put 50 plus points on the last round or something. Josh Adokar, he's got to have a big year. Jermaine Hopgood as well. He has to have an improvement next year as well. I get it. He was coming back from that back injury, but he was just a little bit on the downer side last year. I still think he was playing a little bit injured. But if you were to ask me next year, what do you think of the Eels? Can they make the top 8? Yes, I think they can make the top 8, which would mean no, they're not in a rebuilding year anymore. I seriously think they'll be looking into this offseason that they can actually contend against these top teams and they can win more than 13 games, more than half their games, and make the top 8. My Smoky for top 8 next year. Next one. Oh, interesting one here. And that is the Manly Sea Eagles. And obviously without DCE this year next year for the first time since since 2010 really, so he debuted in 2011. My big question for the Manly Sea Eagles is, can Turbo stay healthy long enough to make finals without DCE? Turbo getting announced pretty much today as captain of the Manly Sea Eagles for next year, replacing Daly Cherry Evans. Jamal Fogarty, the new recruit at number 7 for the Sea Eagles. Going to be super interesting to see how he fits in that system. If you were to ask me, can Turbo stay healthy long enough to make finals at DCE? Oh, no. No, I do not. I think Sea Eagles maybe probably finish around the same as they did this year. Turbo's just such a vital part. He's got to stay healthy all year. He can't be having a little 2 to 3 games out. You just feel like every game that goes along, it feels closer to an injury, unfortunately, with Tom Trbojevic. He's just that kind of player. I'm so intrigued to see how Jamal Fogarty fits into the system with Luke Brooks at 6 as well. They've got some good recruits, though. Like Kobe Hetherington is there as well. I think he's a really solid player, potentially starting player this year off the bench. Jake Trbojevic is another year older. Do I rate Jake Trbojevic? Not necessarily. They really missed Taniela Paseka in the forward pack this year as well. Can I see them winning enough games this year with Turbo at fullback to make the finals? No, I do not. Does that come down to Turbo health? Partly. I also don't believe in Anthony Seibold as a coach as well. I also don't really understand the hiring of Mick Ennis as well. I just think it's just a really weird combination. I think I'm not sure how it's going to work. I'm more than happy to be proven wrong there, but we all know how lethal their wingers can be, like your Ruben Garricks on the centers, like your Jason Saabs, that sort of thing. Absolutely lethal. Obviously, another year of Lehigh Hopper-White as well. But if Turbo stays healthy, maybe, but I need to see it first. And I don't know if Seibold has what it takes to take this team to the finals. If they do, I think they'll be 7th to 8th, and they'll get knocked out of the first round. So, can Turbo stay healthy long enough to make finals at DCE? Short answer, no, not for me. All right. Next team is Fins Up, the Dolphins, who finished 9th for the second year in a row. They'll be looking to go one better this year. They started so well this year. My big burning question for the Dolphins this year is, can Isaiah Katoa take another step in his ability and take this team to finals footy? Oh, yes, I think so. 100%. This guy is so talented, and he's so young. I think he's, 21 years old or something? Dolphins got him when he was 19. Second year in the, it's third year in the comp last year. So fourth year in the system now. You've got second year Christian Wolf. You've got such a talented spine there as well. I think Cody Nikorima really adds a shining light to the spine as well. JMK, Jerry Marshall King, one of my favorite dummy halves going around in the comp as well. They've obviously got Selwyn Cobbo for the year as well. I think he can be a really good addition. And, of course, one of the best centers in the game, if not the best center in the game, that is Herbie Farnworth, such a vital part. You've obviously got guys like Tavita. I'm forgetting his last name now. That's so bad. The young gun on the wing. He is so talented. Obviously, you got Hammer at fullback. He needs a big year. He's just the type of player as well who's just kind of has these inconsistent games. When he's on, scores a double, scores 3. He's electric to watch, so good. Then sometimes he just goes a bit missing, and sometimes in the big occasions. Defense was a massive concern for the Dolphins at the end of this year as well. Whether that was a fatigue thing, a fitness thing, I'm not quite sure. The big thing for the Dolphins is staying consistent the whole year. And Izzy Katoa, is he mature enough to take this big step now again and lead this team and take control of the halves and take control of the ball and take them to the finals footy? Yeah, I think so. 100%. So I think Dolphins can make the top 8 next year, and I think Izzy Katoa will go very close to winning the Dally M next year. This guy is just unbelievably talented as well. They've also got Brad Schneider as well as a little sort of backup from the Panthers as well, which is really key if like a Nikorima was to go down. Potentially maybe JMK like a concussion. We know he's quite prone to them. But big year for Fins up the Dolphins next year. Yes, I think Katoa can take another step with this team and take this team to finals footy. All right, we're done. 9 teams down. Now we're heading into the top 8 that we had from this year. And I am going to start with the Sydney Roosters. Chook. Obviously, they have some big off-season movements. Huge, right? Signing to DCE, signing a Robson, and that's where I'm going to go with this big burning question for the Roosters. It's with the signings of DCE and Robson, can they start hot from round 1 and contend? We know how the Roosters can be, right? The last sort of, ever since they've started really under Trent Robinson, they really do struggle in these round 1 matches. It just seems like they're starting it's like a 3rd or 4th preseason game for them. It's really sort of odd how the Roosters start their season. It just seems to be always slow, right at the gates, look a bit disjointed. Just looks like the chemistry isn't quite there yet. Going to be very interesting to see how they start next year. So vital that they start key this strong next year. Pretty sure they've got a pretty tough draw to start. I think they start in Auckland against the Warriors, and then they play the Rabbitohs in round 2. If they're not on, they're at a very easy potential of starting 0-2 for sure. I think they've got one of the harder draws in the comp as well to start with as well. So if they're not careful, they could be in deep shit early on if they're not on. We've seen DC in the Roosters jersey. I haven't seen a photo of Robson in the Roosters jersey yet, but I love the signing of Reece Robson. Absolutely love it. And I think DC is going to be such a vital key for Sammy Walker next year as well in the half. Teach him a bit more skills as well. Just sort of to have that veteran next to him, just really to sort of take it to the next level potentially. I get it. Hugo Savala and Sammy Walker near the end of last year were pretty good combo, even when Sanders Smith was there as well. Really good combo. Now we are going to see DC and Sammy Walker in there, which is going to be interesting. Robson at 9, James Tedesco at the 1. Probably the best spine in the comp as well. Table that with Nafahu White there as well. Like Lindsay Collins, Spencer Leniu, Angus Crichton, they're going to be a bloody good team next year, I think. You've obviously got Rob Toyer as well, Mark Nwangani-Tawase as well, Daniel Tupou. Not sure what's happening with Billy Smith. Rumours he's going to R360, but this team is stacked, absolutely stacked. Their big problem is beating the good teams, right? Really struggled to beat the Storm, really struggled to beat the Panthers, really struggled to sort of get over these big teams. But the main thing is starting hot from round one. They struggle really early in the season. So the big question for me is, with the signings of DC and Robson, can they start hot from round one? They'll need to be gelling a lot in the preseason, 100%. I definitely believe they can, 100%, but it's going to be new for DCE, right? This is his first different system that he's had for 15, 16 years. First one that Robson's had different for quite a while as well. DC and Robson, Queensland, New South Wales, they've never ever played together. DCE, obviously, now you've got 2 Queenslanders, 2 New South Welshmen in your spine as well. So Robson's played with James Tedesco before, and obviously DCE has sort of had squad camps, maroon camps with Sammy Walker as well. So just going to be very interesting to see how these guys do all combine together. Absolutely no reason why they can't be starting hot round one. I think they'll be putting a big emphasis on it this year. Starts tough though, as I said, trip to New Zealand against the Warriors, and then playing their big rival South Sydney Rabbitohs in round 2 as well. Speaking of the Warriors, my Warriors, up the waz, baby. They are next on the list here. And coming off a pretty good year, I must say. Obviously, the injuries of Luke Metcalf and Mitch Barnett really was quite costly for us near the back end of the year. Made some interesting off-season moves as well so far, which I'm a little bit, I really like kind of heading into next year. Big question for me, and I just mentioned it with Metcalf and Barnett, is can the Warriors keep healthy and be consistently in the top 4? Oh, without being biased, yes, they've proven it to me this year, but Luke Metcalf, Mitch Barnett, James Fisher-Harris, they are just such vital pieces to the team. It's just not even funny. Just like any team, when you lose your star forward, you lose your star half, it's going to be costly for your team, but it was just such a struggle this year. Once we, not like Tanner Boyd was bad, we just really struggled with that kicking game, I thought, at a short kicking game at the end of last year. Just these really attacking kicks where we've got Roger in the wing, or just some really good powerhouses on the wing. Even Dallin in the air is really strong. He just didn't quite get that good ball in the air that we're used to. We're not really seeing that big sort of move to the right that we saw in 2023. I'm sort of looking for that again. I think AKP can have a huge year for the Warriors next year. I honestly think he's going to be one of the top try scorers if he's starting round 1. I also really like the signing Hazen Mellors from South as well. Losing Bunty Afal, who was key off the bench, Tom Ale as well, but we've got so many good young guns coming through, it's not even funny. Dimitrik Valmunga, obviously you've got my boy Leka Halasima, you've got Jacob Laban coming through as well. Them combining with James Fisher-Harris and Mitch Barnett, Origin and international players, is just going to be so key. Aaron Clark in his second year in the system, Dally M Lock of the Year. If Wade Egan can stay healthy as well, not suffer any concussions, yes, I really do believe my Warriors can keep consistently around that top 4. I'm not expecting top 2 or anything. I don't think we're at that level yet. Obviously, Luke Metcalf is coming off an ACL. So is Mitch Barnett. We may start a little bit on the slower side, but I really do believe this Warriors team can keep healthy. Well, can be consistently in the top 4 next year if we keep healthy. Tains will pick it at fullback for me, please. Get Chans in the centers. I really think this team can contend potentially for a premiership next year. Let's go on, Warriors. It's our year. All right, we are flying along here, making really good time here. We've got 6 teams to go for this episode. And we're going to go to the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Woof, woof. Starting to become one of the better teams in the NRL, finishing top 4 this year. They finished 5th the year before, 6th the year before. Finished top 4 this year, went out in straight sets, unfortunately, to the Storm and the Panthers. For them, the big burning question I have for the Doggies is, do they now have the backline and the forward pack to go one step further? So we know they've made a ton of signings, right? A ton of signings in the last sort of 3-4 years. Absolute shitloads. Almost, I think there's like 3 or 4 players that have left that were there in 2021. There's an absolute transformation. The big signing obviously last year was Lockie Galvin, right? And I honestly thought that finals game where they got smashed against the Panthers, I thought he was best on ground for the Bulldogs. Really had a go at it. Really ran the line well. Big thing for Lockie Galvin now is he's got a full off season now in the system, and he's such a free for all player, right? As soon as he gets the ball, he just kind of wants to do what he wants, which is absolutely fine. He's literally 19, turning 20 this year, I believe. So talented. One of the most talented players in that game. How does that combine with a guy like Matt Burton? Because obviously Toby Sexton's gone there as well. Now you're going to have a new number 9 as well. You're going to have Bailey Haywood mainly at 9 because Reed Marnie's not there anymore. How does Connor Tracy go at fullback? I don't think Connor Tracy is exactly the guy they need to take them to that next step further. I still think they're just missing that one key vital piece. I could be wrong. Can I see Connor Tracy, Lachlan Galvin, Matt Burton, and Bailey Haywood taking them to a top 4 and winning a finals game? I'm not sure. Big signing for them next year is Leo Thompson coming from the Knights. I think he will really do bolster this forward pack quite a lot. But, as I said, can the spine take them, this back line, to one step further, which is making top 4 and winning a finals game, which will get them to a prelim? I'm going to say no. I still have them making the top 8, just maybe not the top 4. Can they win a finals game next year? I need to see it, I guess. First thought is no. They've got one of the better defenses in the comp, but I just need to see this. I think they need a bit more experience in the finals. I get it. They lost in 2024 to the Manly, and then they lost in straight sets and this year. I have so much potential, but I just don't know. Like a guy like Connor Tracy has potential, but can I see doing it in finals game? No, not really. Matt Burton as well. Can I see him sort of dominating a finals game? Kind of, no, not really. Bailey Haywood is a really exciting player. I think he can be a really talented 9 for them. Obviously, you got a guy like Stephen Crichton there as well to really help them along. Going to be interesting with the Doggies. Can they take the one step further? I'm going to say no, not quite. I think it'll be sort of similar to the Sharkies. Maybe in 2027 they will be there. All right, next team is our minor premiers from last year. So I'm doing it in how they knocked out from the finals, right? So I'm not doing the Raiders last. I'm not doing how the ladder finished. I'm just doing it how and the way they were knocked out. So obviously, the last 4 teams will be Storm, Panthers, Broncos, and the Sharkies. So going on to the minor premiers, the Canberra Raiders up the milk. And minor premiers last year, absolutely out of the blue, right? Absolute craziness, right? No one really expected it. Second highest odds to win the minor premiership. Jamal Fogarty was awesome. Ethan Strange was awesome. K.O. Wicks was unbelievable for them. And their 4-pack as well is just absolutely immense. Guys like Joe Tarpany, Josh Papali'i, just crazy business, right? Morgan Smithies, he was awesome as well. The Resurgence, new guy Manny Nicholson, he's awesome. Hudson Young is obviously awesome as well. Zach Hosking is even awesome for them as well. A lot of talented guys in this team, but my big burning question for the Raiders is, was this season just gone a one-season wonder, and can they continue the good form without Fogarty? My answer straight up to this is no. I need to see it from Ethan Sanders first. I get it. This Ethan Sanders coming into halfback for the Raiders is meant to be the absolute talk of the town. He absolutely dominated New South Wales. I think it was under 18s or under 19s when he played for them. Absolutely killed Queensland, right? Absolutely put them to shreds. Parramatta signed him for a couple of years, and he just never really fully got his opportunity. Maybe because he was going to the Raiders. I would have loved to see him get his opportunity at the Eels a little bit more with Moses next to him. Obviously, the big departure of Fogarty is huge. We just spoke about that with Sanders coming in. The big one is going to be who is starting at number 9 for the Raiders next year. They literally have 3 number 9s on their roster who could all really start for them. You've got guys like Owen Paddy, who is so talented. You've got guys like Jaden Bradley coming from the Knights. We've seen how he plays, very, very solid player. And then you got a guy like Tom Starling as well, who's really proved himself before. So, going to be a really interesting battle to see who is the starting hooker and who's the starting hooker at the end of the year as well. Like, is the same hooker going to be starting at round 1 as in round 27? Are they going to like sort of stick with it? Have they made the right choice in round 1? Interesting to see how this off-season sort of plays out. They lose Trey Mooney as well, which is a little bit of a loss for them. They sort of gained Dane Laurie as well, so KO Weeks was to ever get injured, that sort of thing. Really handy replacement. Big year for KO Weeks as well. So he had an awesome year this year. Awesome. But can he back it up is the main thing. You obviously got guys like Matt Timoko as well, who I thought he's a little bit weak on the defensive side. He had a huge campaign, I thought, with the Kiwis. Really played well. We know how good he is on attack. Can he back it up on defense? Guys like your Hudson Youngs and your Matty Nicholsons, they are awesome to watch. They will keep performing. I have no doubt about that in my mind. Morgan Smithies at 13 as well, I think, is really solid. And obviously your Bulldogs at the front, like your Joe Tarpanese and your Josh Papali'is, just absolute warriors. They are so good for the Raiders. But as I said, despite of Weeks, Strange, Sanders, and let's say Owen Paddy, probably going to be the youngest in the comp, one of the youngest in the comp next year. Average age of literally like, I want to say like 22. Very young spine heading to next year for the Raiders. Going to be interesting to see how sticky Ricky Stewart goes about it. So was last season a one season wonder? Can they continue in a good form without Fogarty? I do think this season gone was a one season wonder. I don't think they can replicate it. Probably my pick to go from like the least sort of improved, like first to last kind of thing. Not going to finish last, but I can probably see them finishing maybe just outside the bottom, or just outside the top 8. I just think there's going to be a lot of better teams who will be coming after them. I think the Raiders chased a lot last year and kind of got away with it in some spots and that sort of thing. Can you keep doing it for another year? I just don't quite think so. All right. We have got 4 teams left. Excuse me. We've got the prelim finals ready to go. And that is, I'm going to start with up, Cronulla Sharkies. Coming off a pretty solid year, they finished top 4. They did not finish top 4. Excuse me. But they beat the Roosters in the first round of finals, and then they went on the road to Canberra and beat them in a qualifying final for the prelims, which they did very convincingly, very impressive, which is good to see, backing up their finals win from 2024. So that really comes to my question is, can they finally prove they are more than just a regular season juggernaut? My answer to this is yes. I think the Sharkies are a very solid team. They don't do many sort of off-season sort of switches at all. They have pretty much got their starting 13, even their starting 17, like locked in. It feels like for quite a while. They're really good at holding their players. Big thing for them is Ronnie Mulatalo is going to be out with an ACL for, I think, most of the year. I think he'll be coming back maybe in like August or something. That leaves a guy like Sammy Stonestreet to really sort of show his ability and what he can do, which we know what he can do. It's just now he's going to have like a good 15, 16, 17 weeks for him to really show it. Obviously, you got Sione Katoa on the other side, guys like KL Iro, who's just so impressive, Jesse Ramian. The big, obviously, combination is your spine, right? So Will Kennedy is similar. I get sort of similar vibes with Will Kennedy and Connor Tracy, right? Can I see Will Kennedy in a finals game really dominating and taking it to a team like Panthers, Storm, Broncos and beating them? Just not quite there yet for me. I really like the combination of Braden Trindle there with Nico Hines. I think they combine really well. They both sort of know, like, when they start the game, who feels the most on out of those two, and they're happy to sort of dictate it between one another, not try and just force Hines into it, not sort of force Trindle into it. They both know when they've got the hot hand, they just keep sort of feeding each other when they do have the hot hand, which I really like. Blake Brayley became one of the best dummy halves at the end of last year, without a doubt in my mind. If he can repeat what he did last year for this year for next year, oh boy, I really do like the Sharkies next year. They've got to step it up in finals. Guys like Adam Fanua-Blakes, Tom Hazeltons, they've got huge years coming. We know what AFB can do. Second year in the system now. Tom Hazelton's been there a while now. You guys like your Britton Nickers, he is in for a huge year as well. Guy like Cameron McInnes, we know how talented he is. He was injured at the end of last year. He'll be coming back. Absolute workhorse. Such a workhorse. Obviously, the Sharkies are losing a guy like Dan Atkinson. He was just coming off the bench. Not such a big loss for a player for me in regards to the Sharkies there. I really do think Sharkies can take this next step. They're actually my pick to win it this year and beat the Storm in the granny final. That was my preseason pick at the start of this year. Looking at how the teams are looking next year, can they win a prelim? Oh man, they put up a good fight against Melbourne in all honesty. If they can get a home prelim, I know it'll be at Allianz or something. 100% I think they can contend. There's absolutely no reason why. Definitely. So, give me the Sharkies for next year. Really do like the Sharkies. They've had the same players in the system for so long. I really do think they can take this one step further. I think, I get it. The question was, can they finally prove they're more than a regular season juggernaut? I think they can finish top 2, easily top 4, get themselves, win their first final, that first qualifying final, get themselves a home prelim, then they're one game away from the grand final. I think they can make the grand final next year. Why can't they make the grand final? Nico Hines is ready to step up. I am a big Nico Hines fan. We do know he does go missing in big situations, but I think he's ready to take the next step once again. They've won a finals match 2024. They won 2 in 2025. Can they win 3 in 2026? My answer is yes. All right, 3 teams to go, and that is the other prelim loser, and that is the Penrith Panthers. Obviously, we know what the Penrith Panthers can do. Brisbane Broncos stopped their streak of 4 premierships in a row, which is absolutely absurd. Panthers haven't turned too much in the offseason in their games. So Tom Ale, Kalani Going, New South Wales Cup Player of the Year, really good signing for them. Jack Cogger, they've got back from the Knights. He was obviously there when they won it in 2023. 2024, as well. Dane Laurie is gone and Brad Schneider is gone, but 2 guys that aren't really a massive part of that starting sort of 13. Starting 13 is going to look pretty similar as it did in the prelim from this year against the Broncos. And my big question for the Panthers this year is, can they continue the dynasty despite the hard draw? So I did a video last week. They pretty much have the hardest draw in the comp. Can they continue this dynasty despite the hard draw? So, I know what you're thinking. Oh, but they didn't win this year, so the dynasty is done. Mate, if they win this year, that's 5 out of 6. And you're not calling that a dynasty? Come on, let's get real. We all know the Patriots had a dynasty. They won 6 Super Bowls in, 15 years. That's called a dynasty. Chicago Bulls won 6 NBA championships in 8 years. Is that a dynasty? Fucking oath it is. The Penrith Panthers win 5 comps in 6 years. Is that going to be a dynasty? Fucking oath it is. So, my question is, can they continue this dynasty despite the hard draw? 100 million % yes. They actually my pick to win it all next year. My early 11-month preseason pick to win it all with a grand final over 10 months away. I think they can easily win the 2026 NRL Premiership. I think they will be the minor premiers next year despite this hard draw. I think they'll absolutely kill the competition next year in all honesty. I just think this team will be out for revenge. I think they've only had a few players that went to England to play in the Ashes from Penrith. I think this team will be more rejuvenated. They'll have more of an off-season as well. No World Club Challenge, no trips to Vegas. They've obviously had one less match to play this year, which was a grand final, which takes a big toll. And like they're going to be a team that's on the hunt, that are like, it's so hard to stay up. And now they've had that hurdle, they're either going to go down or they're going to come back and resurge. And they're just such a champion team that I can just see them resurging. Blaze Talangi in his second year next to Nathan Cleary at 5'8", I think will be huge for Penrith. I think these two, him and Cleary, will go gangbusters. Obviously, you got a guy like Dylan Edwards, who is just absolutely lethal at fullback when he's on. Probably had one of his poorer years this year, I thought. And a really underrated guy for me is Mitch Kenny at number 9. Really just is like the linchpin to this team. Really sort of holds the glue all together in the spine. We know what this forward pack is like. You know, your Moses Leota, your Lindsay Smith, like 2 internationals, 2 beasts. Guy like Liam Martin, Isaiah Papali'i in his second year in the system as well. Isaiah Yeo, of course, New South Wales player. You got guys like Isaac Tongo, Brian Toto. How could I forget Brian Toto? This team will absolutely cook some teams. Casey McLean is absolutely unreal. He's just getting better and better and better. Then you got a guy like the Milky Man, like the Milkman, Tom Jenkins. He's going to be unreal for, I think, the Panthers next year as well. So, massive year for Penrith next year for mine. I think they'll absolutely trounce the competition next year. I just can't see many teams getting close. I think we will be reminded pretty bloody early how good this Penrith Panthers team is actually. If they don't start like they did last year and be last after 12 rounds, mate, they will cruise. They will absolutely cruise next year, in my opinion. Easily my pick for the premiership winners next year. All right, 2 teams to go. We have got our grand finalists, and of course, I am going to start with the Melbourne Storm, one of the most consistent teams of the NRL in the last 20 years, 23 years, ever since Craig Bellamy has been the coach. My big question for this year is the loss of Ryan Pappenhausen, Nelson Asafa-Solomona, and Eli Katoa too big for them to contend next year? In all honesty, after what has happened and everything, obviously, I really hope Eli Katoa gets some good rest. He's going to be okay and does come back to the game. Obviously, he doesn't come back. He's been an extraordinary player for rugby league. One of my favourite players. It was so sad to see how everything happened. I would really like to see Eli Katoa come back in the future 100% when he's safe and healthy to play. We do know he will not be playing at all for the 2026 season, which is such a shame, but his health is way more important than the game itself. So massive shout out to Eli Katoa. I really do hope he gets some good health for next year. I'm absolutely praying for him. But is the loss of Pappenhausen and Nas a big loss for them as well? 100%. You've got a massive chance, though, for a guy like Sua Fa'alogo, who can really put his foot stamp on the NRL competition next year. We know you got probably one of the better spines in the comp, right, from the other 3. You've got Cameron Munster, Jerome Hughes, and Harry Grant. So it's 2 guys who just played in the Ashes, and then a guy who was injured in the off-season, but he's a Dally M winner as well. So you got the Dally M winner, and then 2 guys like who just absolutely trounce their competition at their position. And then you got a guy like Suafala Logo, who's so talented, but I'm really intrigued to see if he can do it consistently at fullback, right? Is he going to be a guy that's similar to like Hamaso, who has his moments, can score a hat-trick, can score a double like that, and then when he comes up against a good team, kind of falters a little bit, takes a step back, maybe goes missing? I'm not sure. That's a big question for me. But can I see them making the grand final next year like they did this year? No, I don't think so. I think they'll easily make the top 8. There's no doubt about that. Is this Craig Bellamy's last season at the Storm? Oh god, I think it may be, honestly. Yeah, gonna be interesting. I think the loss of Katoa is really big for him. I think he's the best second rower going in the game. It's just such a vital loss. That's Hugh's little sort of outside man. They just go to in the air, little short passes, just so talented all around. You also got guys in the wing like Xavier Coates and Will Warbrick, who are super talented as well. Jack Howarth in his second year at centre as well. Going to be really exciting. Nick Meaney. It's a really strong team still on paper. I really kind of worry how their forward pack will go now that Nas is missing. And like they just got completely overpowered in that grand final like last year in that second half, which is really interesting to see. Will I be shocked if they make the grand final again? Absolutely not. Can I even see them making the top 4? No, I think they'll be closer to 7th or 8th rather than the top 4 for mine. So, big question, is the loss of Pappy, Nas and Katoa too big for them to contend? I am going to say yes. Yes, like that team against the Broncos or the Panthers, I think they do lose. So, going to be interesting to see how Pappenhausen, the loss of that, and Katoa and Nas go. And last team for the podcast, we've absolutely flown through pretty much what I wanted to do, sort of 2-3 minutes on each team. And we have got our premiers for this year, the Brisbane Broncos. Horrible tune. Absolutely hate it, by the way. We know how talented that team is. We know probably what that team is going to look like next year with obviously the losses of Kobe Hetherington. Grant Anderson comes in as well. Going to be interesting to see. No sell on Cobbo. Not that he was really in the team much, but big question for the Broncos. Can they back it up? Can they go back to back? Another sub question I want to put in is Reynolds staying healthy, right? Reynolds just seems to be such a vital part of this team. And now you've got a guy like sort of Jock Madden who's not going to be sort of there next year. Obviously, Billy Walters, he might be coming in a halfback if Reynolds gets injured. Reynolds always seems to get injured at some point during the season, right? Ezra got injured during the season. Can Reece Walsh back up what he did in the back half of last year and do it for a full year? If he does, he will blow away the Dally M's and they will probably blow away the competition as well. But can I see them doing it? I think they'll have a bit of a grand final hangover next year, in all honesty. I think they'll probably still make top 4. I just don't know if they have the strike power like they did last year. I just think all the stars sort of aligned from the last year. Payne Haas looks like he's going to continue playing NRL, which is really, really cool to see. Guys like obviously Corey Jensen's. Want to see bigger years from a guy like Jordan Ricky. Brandon Piakura, he's a beast if he's not getting suspended. So yeah, there's no reason why this team can't contend again, right? They've obviously got such a good backline that can score points from so quickly and whenever they want. Can they go back-to-back? First answer is no. We just know how hard it is to go back-to-back, right? Like we saw Panthers do it, and then we're seeing the Roosters do it sort of 6-7 years ago now. We know how hard it is. Can Madge keep this team sort of in line to get them to go back-to-back? Obviously, you got Paddy Carrigan there as well. No reason why they can't, but if I was looking at, I think they'll be a very tired team next year. They had a few players go to the Ashes this year as well, like your Carrigans, Shibasaki's as well, Tony Staggs, Reece Walsh. Can Shibasaki replicate what he did this year? No reason why he can't. Can Staggs do that as well? There's just a lot of players in that Broncos team who just played so well. Like your Dean Mariners as well. Can they repeat that? My first answer is no, but they have to stay healthy as well. If they have injuries like Reynolds, Mann, like they did this year, I just don't think they can replicate it like they did this year and go on the run like they did. Just a dream run that they had, and to see them replicate it is just be so bloody hard to do. So no, I cannot see the Broncos going back-to-back next year. I still think they'll be a good team. I still think they'll play finals footy. But would you be shocked if this team started faltering next year early on? I wouldn't be. So, going to be interesting to see. But that will do it for this episode. What an episode. I absolutely love doing this. The big burning question for every single NRL club going to 2026. I answered one question for every single team. The question I have for every single team essentially, and I essentially gave my answer as well. I've got all the player movements in front of me as well with all your ins and outs. Going to be such an intriguing year next year. I will have a lot more videos coming through the new year as well with rugby league, my NRL sort of previews as well, heading into the season 2026. What are we? I think we're 13 weeks away this coming weekend, I think, which is very, very exciting. Keen as mustard. That must mean we're sort of 9-10 weeks away from the preseason. So you'll continue getting a new video every single Tuesday, new podcast every single Tuesday, giving you sort of NRL 2026 thoughts, maybe a season review, that sort of thing. But that will do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening. As I said, remember to smash the like button and give the channel a big subscribe. Follow all my channels at Scooshy, or follow all my socials, at Scooshy Sports, SKOOSHI, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter/X, YouTube, the whole shebang. It's all there for you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you tomorrow for my Global Sports Roundup, and cheers.